Hi, welcome to the Gameverse, and today we are going to be playing Luna's Fishing Garden. Brie, had you actually heard about this game before I picked it?
I don't believe so. I don't think so.
And truthfully, I don't think I found this game on my own. I think someone saw it and recommended it to me because of the art style.
Mhm.
But Luna's Fishing Garden is by Cold Wild Games. They're based in Latvia, and it was released in June 2021. It's single player, so once again, we were not able to play this game together. And you can play it on Steam, Switch, and Android. The current price as of the time of recording is $7.99 on Steam. So, Brie, initial reactions to this game?
Maybe I had come across this game at some point, like possibly on like a Steam sale, and was interested, but I hadn't, really picked it out. I think the aesthetic is very cute. Like just looking at the store page, I was like, I think this is going to be my vibe. Like I'm very much in the season of my life where I like very chill, non-committal games, and that definitely fits the bill for that.
Definitely very cute, bright pixel art vibes. So I had never played this before either. It's been sitting in my library for maybe a year now. But yeah, I'm also in a spot where I just want to play chill games and not feel pressured or feel like I have to put hours and hours into something. So that's why I picked this one. Tell me about your experience with the game.
It pretty much drops you right in. You're a girl that just fell on an island after a big storm, and you meet this big creature who asks you to clean up the island because it is just a mess after the storm. I do like right away that it gives you an option for different levels of fishing mechanics. I thought that was very fun. I have not seen that before. Just from reading the reviews, I have heard that the challenging mode is very challenging, so I'm glad I made that decision.
I ended up switching back and forth a couple times. Like I started in challenging mode, and it is very, very similar to Stardew Valley fishing, but I found it a little harder than Stardew Valley fishing, even though it feels like a very similar mini game. And so when I had to like grind to get a certain number of certain fish, I did just switch it to relaxing mode so I can just get it out of the way instead of feeling like I'm struggling. So agreed, like relaxing mode is pretty nice, especially if you're trying to play it chill and not spend a ton of time playing fishing mini games.
Yes, like I said, I didn't do the challenging mode at all. So the challenging mode is similar to Stardew, or the easy mode is similar to Stardew?
The challenging mode felt like a Stardew clone.
That's funny because the reviews were very negative about that. I'm just like, I really like the fishing mechanics in Stardew, so maybe I would like it in this.
I haven't admittedly played Stardew in a while, so maybe I'm forgetting, but that was my initial reaction when I was playing challenging mode, like, oh, it's Stardew again.
I could certainly see that because I feel like the simpler mechanic was also very similar to Stardew, just like with a little less mechanics into it. But it was still served some sort of challenge. Like this game in general, I kind of hate this term because I feel like it is naturally derogatory, but it's like, oh, this game is all fetch quests. But it is almost entirely fetch quests, which I don't have any problem with because you have to go fishing so often for very particular things. Just for me, it made more sense to be like, let's go simple. I just want to get the fish and give it to the person, to the sea lion.
Yes, this game is very fetch quest plus decoration, and the decorations give you items for the fetch quest. When you wind up on an island, you meet Luna, the big kitsune, I think. Looks like a fox.
I was saying, actually, I didn't say it earlier because I was not sure what creature she is meant to be. I feel like she looks like a variety of things. I'm not sure.
Unknown, cool spirit fox-like lady. It's all 2D and side-scrolling, and you just start off with a couple of islands and one fishing area, and you slowly just unlock more over time as you do more and more fetch quests. It's a super simple game. I also really liked the shortcuts. So when you go to sell items to Luna, you just automatically sell everything. There's no shopping. You sell your items, and then it just automatically knows to keep current quest items in your inventory. Yes. So there's just absolutely no sorting to be done and absolutely no remembering to be done either.
I love that, actually, just because so I've done that plenty of times in games like this where I accidentally sold a quest item and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to start over again. So I appreciated that was a built-in mechanic that it's like, no, you need this thing. We're not going to take this, especially. That was my first concern selling my items for the first time. I was like, oh, no, I needed that. It's like, oh, good. The game kept it for me. That's perfect.
How far did you get in the game?
I did beat it yesterday. That is definitely a talking point for this because I feel like even we mentioned this when we were talking about unpacking. I think one of the most consistent negative reviews I saw for this game was, bang for buck. This game is $7.99, which I don't think is a high price tag by any means. But I would say, generally speaking, this game is about 2 to 4 hours long, depending on a couple of factors. It took me about 3.5 hours. It's honestly perfect for me. That is a perfect game for me, honestly.
It's chill girl summer. So
I'm gaming after work. I'm exhausted. I only have so much of an attention span. So me popping on a game like this for 20 minutes where I don't have to think too hard about it. And I could just do a couple of things. And I was just playing a game where there was no auto-saving, and it was very sad. And I'm just so grateful that auto-saving is a universal thing because I could just play this, not worry about saving it, and then hop right back in. But yeah, I would say at most this game is about 4 hours. I took a little longer because another negative thing I heard about this game is the idle mechanics. There definitely is some because of like the plants that you plant. There's a lot of different fruits and stuff like that you can gather that you need to gather for quests.
right.
And those do have wait times to replenish those. I will say, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the longest wait time is 90 seconds, which to me, not a big deal by any means.
I don't really think that counts as idling. Like I set it up so that you essentially, it's like a drive-by situation of gathering my items. So it's going to take me 90 seconds to get to the other side of where I'm going and do things across the whole screen anyway.
Yeah.
So it never felt like I had to be idle. I just went somewhere else and came right back, and then they were ready again.
I super agree with you. And honestly, even if there was like a time where I was like, oh, I think I gathered everything already, like I am just going to sit there and wait for this next thing. 90 seconds is not a long time. And that is the highest wait time. And honestly, like I love like some small idle bits in games. I don't mind this at all. It helps my like neurodivergent brain a ton because it allows me to take breaks from the game.
Heck yeah.
When I was waiting for something, like there was a quest, like one of the very early quests where it's kind of hard to purchase a lot of plants. I think it was like you had to get 10 coconuts or whatever. And I think that, quote unquote, idle time was about 60 seconds. Again, still not a long time. It's somewhere 45 to 60 seconds. So not long by any means. And I only had one coconut tree. So I had to wait for it to grow each time. That was fine for me. Like I just like would grab them. I would wait. I tidied up my desk a little bit. I just did like little things to like get away from my desk. That's how I use any quote unquote idle time. That doesn't bother me at all, but it was a complaint I was seeing pretty frequently. But to your point, the way you travel, I don't think it matters at all. If there is any waiting time, it is maybe a few minutes at most.
It's definitely not forcing you to be idle if you don't want to be. You can't just, okay, I'm going to go fish over here and then I'll come back in 60 seconds. Like that amount of time is so short. But I could see if people weren't expecting that could be frustrating in the early game when you can only afford one tree. That being said, if they wanted to afford a second tree, they should have been grinding fish while they waited.
Yes. If you were playing this game and just going straight through the quests and like never took time to like get some extra money fishing or buy some of the like the capybara house and things like that to kind of automate some things so you could be generating regular income, there's going to be some idle time. There's going to be a little wait. But again, even those wait times, very, very minor. So I was interested that was such a common complaint I saw. It didn't bother me at all. I don't think it halted my gameplay in any way.
The price complaint, it is $8 currently. It is maybe a 3-hour game, maybe 4. But a movie costs more than that, and that's a 3-hour thing, right? It's cheaper than a movie.
Mm-hmm.
The art is pretty good.
Yeah.
And I don't know, anyone has tried to create cohesive, nice looking pixel art, but that is not like a simple thing you can sit down and do, let alone the programming.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I feel like we kind of brushed over that, but aesthetically, this game is just very pleasant. It's very bright colors. It's very cheerful. The music is very Stardew Valley / Animal Crossing. Give me a little more Animal Crossing vibes than anything. All of the NPCs are these big animal creatures, and they're all very cute and adorable. They all have like their tiny little personalities, which is fun. They all have different types of quests that you have to do for them. Aesthetically, I think this game is great. And to your point with the price point, like, I don't know, this makes sense to me, a 2 to 4 hour game. And I think I could see this as like a future comfort game for me. I don't think this has probably the same level of replayability for like every single person. I think I could, because I did get 14 out of 15 achievements for this game, playing it all the way through.
You could get 100%. You get some Chivos in there.
Exactly. So I'm just like, I could see myself playing this game again to get that last achievement, just because I'm so close to getting it. This will probably go into my like comfort game rotation. So for me, this is worth the price point. I think $8. And honestly, it's on sale all the time. In fact, I believe it's on sale right now for like $5. If it's really a price point issue, wait for it on sale, but I think it's worth it.
You mentioned Animal Crossing. I actually wrote down Nigel equals Blathers. Like his role in the game is like,
yes,
go collect one of everything and bring a unique item to me, and it'll go into the like historical database.
Yes.
Which I think is fun. I was a little bit frustrated because I just sold everything right before I talked to him the first time.
Yes. I believe I did the same thing.
It takes so little time to gather items that even when you think you might have a moment of frustration about it, you just have like 1 minute later, you have the thing you need.
Yeah, especially like with the fishing, like it's kind of nice because there's like there's separate fishing holes and you identify which fish are in that fishing hole. So it's not like you have to wander a ton to try and find that one thing that Nigel needs. You can be like, okay, it's fishing hole number 4, and I have like a 1 of 4 chance of catching this thing. Like it never felt like I was like, oh man, I just sit here and fish forever. And then he would just get very excited and squawk, and I thought that was very cute.
Aww. Some of the fish are more rare. So when you're fishing in a fishing hole, if you're trying to gather one of the fish that is harder to catch, yes, it will take you a little longer. But there's no seasons. There's no day-night cycle. Like it is just very much a relaxing, take your boat back and forth, plant things on your island and gather stuff game. It is so simple in, I think, a really good and fun way.
That's kind of, I feel like my main thesis. I just think it's adorable. It's very fun. It's very simple. It's easy to pick up and play. In fact, I think the only thing that like threw me for just a small bit of time because I wasn't paying attention is I didn't realize that I had to visit the lighthouse so often to expand. And I was like, oh, well, what else am I supposed to do? But to that point, there's like a little charter that's always in the top right-hand corner that lists your current quest items, which is also very helpful and lets you know how far along you are in that. That's actually an upgrade that they made to Stardew Valley recently as well, where they constantly update you on progress you're making for a certain quest, which is so helpful. I love that so much because then you don't have to constantly check your inventory and be like, wait, shit, how many do I have of this thing? And then for this quest, what do I need to do still? Like, it's a small quality of life thing, but I think it makes the experience so much better so that you don't constantly have to check back and see where you're at on a certain quest. It's like, oh, okay, I just need 2 more. I can see all the time.
Yeah. And for me, like, I don't like checking back. So playing things like Stardew Valley or any kind of fetch quest type game, I just have like a notebook usually. Like have to have a notebook where I'm writing stuff down and keeping track of what I want to do first and all of this stuff. This game is so simple, it doesn't need that, but it especially doesn't need that because of that really handy top corner quest tracker.
Yes. And kind of to that point as well, like there's never so many quests because it is, again, it's a very short game and you only interact with so many characters. I think at most you would have like maybe 3 quests going on, depending on how many people you talk to at a time. It's not overwhelming. Overall, this game is just very peaceful and chill, and the animals are so dang cute. I was going to ask you, do you have a favorite character of the ones that we met?
So I haven't beat the game yet. So I have a feeling that my answer will change, but I really do like Luna. I like the boss, big boss lady. I have a soft spot for any kind of fox-like character. So I'm a Luna fan. How about you?
She is really cute. The red and black aesthetic is just always good. And I think that kind of adds to her like her whole appeal that she's just like this kind of hooded, mysterious creature and a little guarded until you meet her a little more at the end. But I like Jellybean. Jellybean the sea lion. I am a notorious sea lion stan, and I am just so he's very cute. Makes like fishing dad puns the whole time and is just very sweet. He has like a little fishing outfit on. He's like the second character you meet, and he just constantly gives you like very small fishing quests, which is nice too, because again, everything in this game is very digestible in terms of the quests. He's just like, hey, just do these 2 fish. Okay, now these 2 fish. Okay, now 1 of these and 3 of these. It's a nice way to kind of introduce the fishing mechanic right away. I will say kind of a small note on that. I do like that they offer so many automated things for the game, like the capybaras. The capybaras gather all of the plants that are on the water, like the bamboo and the lotus, things like that.
Right.
Can't believe we haven't even talked about this yet. I don't know if you got this far, but there are bird nests that you have to set up all over the island.
Ooh, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, it's a very cute mechanic. You need twigs to upgrade your boat. So in order to get twigs, you have to have some birds on your island, and the birds have little nests, and that's where you get the twigs from. And the birds, depending on which species you get, they give you more or less twigs, and they also gather the fruit on the islands for you. So they'll fly back and forth between islands to gather fruit so that you don't have to do it manually, which is Very nice. I will say that mechanic comes fairly early in the game. So like by like hour 2, I would say I had pretty much everything automated and I had so much money that I upgraded my fishing rod like right away. And I was like, okay, well, I don't really need to do too much because I have so much money in this game because everything's automated. So, but I can't wait for you to see the birds because you'll love them. There's a little kiwi bird who walks around and there's a little owl and they're just very adorable. They just flap around. Not the kiwi bird, obviously, but between the islands gathering fruit. I can't wait for you to see that because it's a very adorable mechanic. I will say that is one of the ones that has the most idling in it because each bird only gives you, I believe, at most 3 twigs per, I want to say like 90 seconds. But towards the end of the game, you need like 500 twigs, 1,000 twigs, 1,500 twigs. So that's where a little more of the idling comes in because you do have to wait a little longer for that. But honestly, again, in those times, I just took a break from the game or I just watched the birds walk around. They're very cute. So like that was not a problem for me at all. But I understand that may be frustrating for some people. Yeah, Jelly Bean all the way.
This is the game you want to play for the absolute simplicity, turn your brain off. And I commend them for being able to accomplish that. One of the hardest things, in my opinion, with designing games is creating that feel of a game, creating that user interface, that user experience that really puts you into the game and you're not overly thinking about it. You're not having to have 100 different tutorials to explain to you how to freaking use the game. It's just, you can just get into it, press 3 buttons at a time maybe, and go and look at cute art. So would definitely play this game if you're looking for something chill and easy.
Absolutely. At the same time, I've been just starting to play Breath of the Wild, which zero hate to anybody who likes Breath of the Wild. It's just like, it is a very complex and complicated game with a lot of mechanics. So I found myself wanting to just go back to Luna's Fishing Garden just because I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I don't want to think too much about this. And it's just a darling game. It is adorable. It is cozy and comfy. If you're a cozy gamer, this is probably exactly what you're looking for. If the price point does bother you, I think you could easily wait for a sale. But again, I think $8 is for the amount of joy and just chill vibes of gaming, that's worth every penny. Otherwise, just wait for a sale. But I think this is a great game if you're just looking for something along the lines of like Stardew, Animal Crossing, but just a shorter experience, a little more contained, very simplified, and very aesthetic. I think it's perfect.
And if you're going to give your money to anybody, it might as well be the indie devs out there.
Yes, please. They deserve it. Again, I think this is an adorable game. I really enjoyed it. This is definitely going to go in my rotation along with Unpacking in terms of like games I'll revisit every now and again. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate you suggesting this because this was a very enjoyable little romp.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, this podcast is an excuse to get to play some of the indie games sitting in my library that I just haven't found an excuse to play yet. So excited to keep testing these out and trying out new stuff. Love this game too. I haven't beaten it yet. I'm not as far as Brie. I probably played for an hour or so. So admittedly didn't play as much, but felt like I got a really good feel for the general game. Excited to get to the automation. I actually also like idle games. Yeah. Thanks, Brie, for chatting about Luna's Fishing Garden, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yeehaw!